It's time for Coach's Corner again with Coach Allen as we talk about the high school football team. Behind the cameras tonight is Chris, and we appreciate Chris Adams and all his work this year. We appreciate Coach Allen being here every week. And Coach, we've had some great moments this year, but this may be the best moment of our year with the victory on Friday night.
Claremore's was pretty nice at the end too. That was pretty nice. But yeah, we had some dramatics here at the end here as well.
We've won 8 games under your guidance, but I'm not sure any of them had everything that Friday night's game had.
Yeah. It was, if you got your money's worth if you were there. It was a very entertaining game, back and forth. Didn't always. I thought we were the better team throughout the game. We should have. Honestly, in the first half, we would drive and we got kind of clogged in the red zone a few times, and shot ourselves more in the foot more than what they were doing. Otherwise, I thought our guys played well. They had a big running back. Dave Williams is a 230-pound just beast of a runner. And he was wearing us down a little bit in the second half. Otherwise, I thought we played well. Our guys showed a lot of resolve coming back. We don't want to panic. Coaches, players didn't panic. And not only do we not panic, not only do we have to come back in the second half, but if you watched any of our offensive drives, we usually had a penalty of some sort, and would get I think there was one time we had 2nd and 25 or something. I think get picked up. I'm saying time and again we were picking up first downs, and when we had like 1st and 20 or 2nd and 20 to go, we would get the first down.
We're like a boxer who kept getting knocked down, and then we'd get right back up. And there was a little frustration the first half, Coach. We felt it because we looked like everything was going our way, but the scoreboard really didn't reflect that.
No, you're right. No, coaches, we were offensive staff was very frustrated. I felt like we let the defense down. I mean, we should have. We could have kept the momentum in our favor easily if we would have just scored sometime down there, and then we were frustrated that we weren't scoring down there, and got a little concerned. Meaning, what type of game is this going to be? Are we going to this? Because we had seen this before. It almost felt like a 2014 game where we played great defense, we drove the ball down the field, and then we get clogged up in the red zone a lot. And we'd actually been, honestly, I think, pretty decent at scoring in the red zone this year. But we kept going down there and just getting stops and I was getting a little frustrated. I was a little nervous about what was taking place there, and so I'm sure you felt it. The stands felt it. Coaches definitely felt it, and but I was proud. We just kind of kept our heads, kept cool. Talked on the phone about play calling. What can we do to get out of it, and the play calls were fine. We just weren't executing in the first half a couple times. A lot of it was some mistakes in players. We had some missed routes and some things that shouldn't have happened that did. But we just kind of kept our heads, went with the guys, and third quarter on, I really, from the opening kickoff of the second half, it kind of started going our way much better. But it was frustrating in the first half.
One thing that the fans should realize what they got on Friday was 2 teams who had won 2 games. And I'll say this, and Coach Corbin, I'm sure, would agree with you and I, is that if you watched that game and didn't know records, you would have thought that a gold trophy was on the line.
Absolutely.
I mean, on both sides of the ball for both teams, it was a great battle. I mean, everybody battled like it was a championship game. And I mean, that's the proud thing about these programs is that it doesn't matter what records, you usually are going to see teams that fight to the bitter end, and that's what happened.
Absolutely, yeah. Coach Corbin and those guys, we got Sepulpa's best, and they got our best, and man, it was just a fun game. We had to make big plays. A play here or there helped Sepulpa in that second half. I mean, we had some big plays go our way. Connor Larson, can't say enough, close to 300 yards of total offense. Really, his running ability was the X factor for our offense in this game. Now there was times he chose to do it with his legs when he could have done it with his arm on some pass plays. But either way, he had a great night. It was amazing.
Let's go through the last part of that game, because if you listened to it or you were there, you know how tense that moment was. We scored late in the game to take a 2-point lead, kick off, and Sepulpa gets a couple of first downs. You were given some ground. You knew that it would have to be a long field goal to beat you, and then all of a sudden a penalty puts it down there on the last play of the game where Sapulpa's got a chance to kick a field goal. What's going through your mind?
I'm nervous. I've seen their field goal kicker kick. I'm thinking, and it was 2-point. Yeah, it was a 2-point game. We missed an extra point. And I'm also thinking, like, when there was that dead ball foul, should I put it on the extra point instead of the kickoff? You start going in your mind like, why are we in this position? First of all, I don't usually say anything about, but there was a missed call on that allowed them to get in field goal position in that situation anyway. But nothing you can do about the time. No, we were concerned. I mean, if the penalty didn't happen, then for a high school kicker, they were way out of a high school kicker's range. But with that penalty, a decent high school kicker can that was definitely possible. And obviously, I asked the coaches around there, saw him during warm up, and just like, hey, how was his leg during? They're like, hey, he's not bad, he's good. And so, when I looked down there and that ball was inside the 20-yard line, it's where they were going to snap the ball at. I was thinking, man, a high school kicker, he can, they can make that, and so. No, I was definitely nervous. I mean, this was going to come down to one last play of execution, and it was a game of, David Miller's article in the paper, it came down to, it was a game of inches. It was a cliche, but it takes a different trajectory, a little more trajectory, and that thing's through the uprights. It just happened to, fall and hit the baseline crossbar. But no, to answer your question, when I saw the penalty, it was, now executing a field goal at the high school level isn't a sure thing. It's not. I mean, but that being said, I saw where the ball is at. I know high school kicker can make it through there, and I was nervous. I mean, at that point, I'm thinking, I hope we get a block. I mean, my sure thing is I hope we get a block of some sort. I don't want to leave it in the hands of that guy mis-executing. Mm-hmm. And anyway, just happened to. But a high school kicker executing a field goal like that isn't 100%, obviously. So, it didn't go through. Well,
just to take folks back to that last 10 seconds, Coach can't talk about it, but I can. It was a pass interference penalty with 1 second to go that allowed the ball to be moved from the 35 to the 20. And obviously they wouldn't try a 50-yard field goal, but they were going to try a 35-yard field goal. And there was a lot of discussion about it. And when it was all said and done, they put the ball down and nothing you can do about it. And the kid kicked the ball, and he thought he made it. I don't know whether you saw this on the film, but the ball hits the front of the crossbar. And I don't know what he was looking at, but he ran to his sideline, jumping up and down like he made the field goal. That was my interpretation of how he did it. That's how close. If it would have been one more yard, I think the ball might have gone over instead of in front.
Sure.
But that's how close that game was. And, that's how close it is from being 3-6 and 2-7.
Yeah.
And I know it doesn't sound like much to people in Jinx and Union, but it is a lot for Ponca City and for Sapulpa.
Absolutely. No, every win, we need to experience every win and every positive Friday night and weekend that we can get. And, no, that was great. I mean, our players were high-fiving. I mean, it was a great locker room atmosphere. Obviously, it's the last game that I think a very good senior class that we'll look back on. Ponca, a very good senior class, got to experience. So, no, it was great. It was a great feeling and I mean, just fun. I mean, like I said, the wins we've had this year have been outstanding. They've been fun. They've shown all the wins we've had, especially the last two ones, Claremore and Sapulpa, show the character of the senior class and of our team. Both those wins came down at the last minute of the game, and just great celebration. And I'm just proud that our guys fought hard and got a win.
I know it's postseason honors are so hard, especially when you play in a district with Booker T and Bartlesville and Sand Springs. There's going to be so many of those players that are deserving. I hope our seniors, though, that are quality players are deserving get recognized.
And I'll fight for them too at those meetings. You look at Austin Hersick. I think he's 1 or 2 in 6A2 in tackles, and we're one game short, because of a cancellation. So out of 9 games, he's ranked there right now 1 or 2 in tackles in 6A2. I'll definitely nominate him for Defensive Player of the Year, whether he gets it or not. He's had an excellent career in linebacker there. Definitely will, we'll put as many guys as I can for district honors and things like that. And, we'll see. I think, Ben Ralston, Jared Harvey, and Izzy Washington, and, Forrest Deming will have, we'll see where we can get within the offensive line. Obviously, Connell Larson.
Right.
But, no, these guys had a great year. Obviously, I wish Keller Elwood, he was injured early in the season. He would have, with his talents, he would have easily been one of the top DBs and receivers in the district. So it's just unfortunate. Scott Feaster, if you noticed, he played in the game Friday. He just got the news that from the MRI results that there was nothing wrong with his. Everything was good, and so he got to suit up and play.
I didn't expect him to play, Coach.
No, and that was a shock even on me as well. Honestly, I didn't really quite know that it was going to be. I knew there was a chance for everything was fine, but with his injury, but I didn't know that he's actually going to be cleared and get ready to suit up for the game. So that was interesting, and really to see him out there was pretty awesome. So I'm glad Scott Feaster got to enjoy his last game out there. But again, unfortunately, we had a lot of injuries. Unfortunately, Elwood didn't have the same opportunity. But anyway, it was just a great night. Ben Ralston and Izzy Washington, Jared Harvey, Forrest Deming, Dexter Arita, Connor Larson, Austin Hersick, Scott Feaster, Riley Dilbeck. Riley had a good game. Riley had a couple of catches and got to play also DB. Game made a couple big plays. So Riley had a good game as well. So it was fun to see those seniors. And then I can't leave out some of the ones. James Deviney. James Deviney got a lot of play time the last couple of games at guard, and Josh Kolchecki. You can't say enough about Josh. Josh has been with the program ever since his at least his freshman year, I believe, and definitely when I've been as far as a sophomore, he has just done everything I ever asked of him and made every workouts, and so proud of him as well. And so all these seniors are a great class to have.
One final thing before we let you go. Next week we have our football banquet, and a lot of programs 3 and 6, and it's not as uplifting as it should be. But I think our program is above that. We recognize the things we have to go against, and a 3 and 6 season isn't where you want to be, and it's not the goal you attained. But I think the bottom line is that you participate, you do the best you can, and we always try to keep our athletes in an upward motion, and we try to build upon things that we had this season. Our kids need to be congratulated, and just because they didn't win 10 games or go to the playoffs, that still doesn't mean that every one of those boys didn't work just as hard as they could.
Absolutely. No, we, we're just, the district was extremely tough. I thought district has been tough the last 2 years, but I even think this year was probably the toughest a district's been. I know we were in 6A altogether, but I'm saying as far as, some of the other programs that we always play, their programs were on a high as well. So we were in a definitely tough district. If you came and watched the games were, in a way, really competitive and close. We were always, when some of those losses were just literally 3 or 4 big plays. I look at the Muskogee game, and we just gave up really just 2 to 3 big plays and didn't come up with some big plays on offense a few times. Or that game's different. I think it's the same way with even Bixby game. We could have been a little different if we made a few plays here and there. And now I know that's easy to say, but it really did come down to some of that. So we weren't too far off in some areas. So I thought we got better. I thought we competed hard. If we had played the game against Shawnee, we had a great chance there. Not saying we not wasn't a definite winner for sure, but there's a good chance that we come out top, and we finished 4 and 6, and that's best record we've had in a while. So we were just things didn't quite go our way. We were close, but we did reveal that I thought we still at times played really good football and had some positive things here at the last, especially the last half of the season, and was really happy to see our guys rebound, because the middle part of the year was rough for us, that Booker T loss. And so, I was happy to see our guys rebound. There was a time in the year this year, one of the first times in 4 years here, that I didn't quite know where we were at psychologically, and I was a little concerned. And you know what? I'll say this: going into that Claremore game, I was real concerned where we were at the time. I had another tough loss at Sand Springs, and you know what? Our guys bounced back, showed great resolve, and proud of them for that.
Coach, thanks for your time as always this season. We appreciate it. We'll see you at the banquet next week. We appreciate Chris behind the camera for doing our Wildcat football show each week. Have yourself a great winter.